After completing your micro prints with the gelatin plates, we're going to use a technique called Collage Assemblage to put together an interesting composition. I am going to do sort of a field of flowers. Start off with something simple if this is your first time doing something like this. I started off by just drawing some lines, which will be my stems, and now I'm cutting out my printed paper. At first, I was sort of arranging them in the shape of a flower just to get an idea about the size that I would need. However, the goal right now is to just start getting some shapes cut out from a variety of different pieces of paper. Once you have all your pieces cut out, you are going to want to figure out how you are going to arrange the pieces onto your paper. For this project, I decided to sort of put like colors together. You can see in some of my other examples, I really scatter colors around everywhere. That's a choice you get to make as an artist. I also decided that the bottom of this image was going to be a little bit too plain, so I'm going to draw in some leaves. Before I begin gluing down my petals, I need to decide which flower is in front and which one is behind. I'm going to start by just looking at these first 4 flowers, and that big tall one is going to be at the very back, and the one that's crossing over in front of it is going to be the front of that grouping of 4. Make sure you think about order before you start gluing. So I've got the first batch of my flowers done. I'm going to leave my yellow focal point to the very end, but I need to decide with these last 4 flowers what I'm going to do and how I'm going to arrange them. Feel free to take your art in small batches. Part of my planning is that I'm thinking about the principles of design. I'm already going to be using emphasis through the use of color by having one big, bold yellow flower, which will draw the eye into it. I'm also using the principle of variety by making a tiny flower here at the front. And it's still harmonized and using the principle of unity because it's sharing the same shape petals as you see in the rest of the flowers, but making it smaller gives us some interesting variety and makes this composition more unique to look at. Now I'll add in my feature flower. That yellow is really going to pop against the darker blues, greens, and I'm playing around with color theory by having a purplish flower right beside it. Now you may be wondering what I'm going to do with this last flower off to the far side. And what I'm going to do with that one is tie everything together. This flower is going to be so tall that it's going off the page. You're only going to see a couple of petals, but in those petals, I'm going to draw in all the colors that I have happening in this composition. When you add in little splashes of color from that main focal point, it's going to help the viewer's eye bounce around the page and really take in everything. But we're ensuring the first thing that the viewer looks at is that yellow flower. I will also add in centers to the middle of my flowers. This is going to help contrast from the flower and give it a little bit of definition.